Good evening. It's September 15th, 2025. Joshua Hatch, acting chair for the Annapolis Human Relations Commission. Today we have an agenda before us. Everyone has received a copy of the agenda, but before we get into it, I just want to take a privilege to make a couple of announcements. Number one, as you'll see, as you notice, the first item on the agenda is to address the quorum of the Human Relations Commission. We are mandated to have a quorum. A quorum requires to have 8 commissioners present at this meeting. We do not have 8 commissioners, so therefore there will be no official business being conducted by the commission. Yet we'll have a conversation about some matters that are before us without taking a vote. The other thing that I'll say is that we need to take an aggressive approach in trying to recruit commissioners. I do know that we've had one person apply for a seat and we're waiting on the city to act on it. And I know Mike Keller has an update on that, and I'm going to allow him to tell us what he's learned in a second. But we still need to actively seek to bring one person, at least one individual to the commission. So we'll move right into our agenda. The first item is for us to really have a dialogue about the quorum issue. And I know that Michael Keller has an announcement because he's been in contact with the city. So Mike, can you tell me can you tell us exactly what you learned? You're muted, Mike.
Yeah.
Sam, okay.
There you go.
In terms of specifically what Joshua mentioned is that correctly that Josh did recruit another person who looks like an excellent candidate. That person worked through the application form with me. It's an online form. It was sent. The city acknowledges having received it, but they've done nothing to go forward with the appointment. The individual applied back in May. This is the month of September. The coordinator of boards and commissions has said that she'll work with the mayor and try to get this individual approved. But there's been no formal action on the part of the city. The commissioners are appointed by the mayor with a confirmation of the city council. This particular appointment should have been handled routinely quite a time ago. The other issue is that even after the mayor makes the appointment, the nomination has to be approved by the City Council's Housing and Community Development Committee. Unfortunately, that committee is chaired by a member of the council who is leaving the council. And so there's going to be a question about whether or not the committee will simply sit on that appointment, not send it on to the council until the committee can be revived again, which would be after the November election. To make a candidate wait that long for appointment
Ridiculous.
is absurd and as such. Now, that's just the announcement on that point. But I did want to talk with commissioners about the issue of the quorum. This is not something that is happened overnight. It has been building for over a year. I have had repeated conversations. I'm going to say that word again, repeated conversations with Hillary Rakovich, she is the coordinator of boards and commissions for the city of Annapolis. She is a paid employee. She's paid for doing this stuff. And I expressed very great concern that unless there were some actions taken by the city, either one, recruiting additional members to the commission, or second, to reduce the size of the commission, either one of which would overnight solve our quorums issue. Ms. Ratmovich has repeatedly told me that she's working on it. But the last conversation I had with her was that the mayor did not want to proceed with a separate action in council that would either reduce the size of the commission or would give her the authority to go out and look for additional commissioners. The nature of the problem is this. The commission was established back in 1963. It was the first of the boards and commissions to be created by city council. Why is that significant? At the time, the council established a guideline, not a guideline, but a mandate for the size of the commission. The commission was set at having 15 members. Now, fast forward to today, the median number of commissioners who serve on the various boards and commissions in the city, the median number is about 9, considerably less. Why is that important? In our case, and also in the case of the city's transportation board, which has a completely different structure, we have to basically have a quorum, a majority of the individuals who would be present if all of the positions were filled. That number is 50%. So the quorum for the commission, the beginning quorum for the commission is, for us to be able to do business, we have to have 8 members of the commission who would either be active commissioners or will be inactive commissioners that we can simply rely on the count. The last time we did that was at our June meeting. We had 6 active commissioners and 2 inactive commissioners. 2 inactive commissioners being Ida Mae Sims and Edith Knight. The one active commissioner we no longer have is Jerry Williams. Jerry Williams, and he has said he did not want to be reappointed. He had family obligations, and so he was off. So right now, from the standpoint of the quorum, the people who are on the call tonight represent the remaining members of the commission. That is 5 out of, the high number could be as high as 15. But we need at least 3 additional commissioners to be appointed. That would give us 18. That would, give us 8. That would establish the majority. It would give us a majority of quorum. Or we could simply ask the city council, and this is the issue that I've raised most pointedly with Hillary. We could ask city council to basically change the requirement that the commission have, that our commission have 15, at least 8 members, or for 15 total, to make it like all other boards and commissions except the transportation board, and that we would have 9 statutory members. We have 9 statutory members. Majority of that would be 5, and we could operate right along the lines that numbers we have now, and would be solidified with the addition of the individual who's been expressed interest in joining us. Either way, we could do it. Now, I do know this, and I don't think Tricia would object to me saying this. Tricia did intervene herself. She interviewed with Hillary and said, why is this taking such a long time? And Hillary just said, well, that's how the mayor wants to proceed. And so she got nowhere talking with the coordinator boards and commissions on this. And you say, well, can we go around her? The answer is really no, because she reports directly to the mayor. And as long as the mayor is satisfied with her performance, she will remain in that position. But that is the number one issue that our commission needs to address. We need to get through dealing with this quorum issue. Otherwise, as Joshua has correctly stated, and he's simply reflecting what he heard in no uncertain terms from the Office of Law, that when it comes to our doing official business, i.e. a motion, even something as routine as accepting the minutes from the previous meeting, can't do it. So we have to, and there are other serious issues too. This commission has statutory responsibility for enforcing the city's fair housing ordinance. That authority rests with this commission, doesn't rest with the mayor, it rests with us. Right now, we couldn't, if we had a fair housing complaint, we couldn't proceed on it. We couldn't do what we are required to do in city code simply because we don't have a quorum. Where would that lead? Well, I think where that would lead would probably be on the desk of the Maryland Attorney General, is where this would end up, and it would be extremely embarrassing for the city. So that is a number that needs to be job one, because
Well,
otherwise you're going to constantly be affected by this ongoing problem. This should never have come this form. This should have been handled, months and months and months ago. But I just want to emphasize that I was on top of this. I just went as far as I could go, and just I saw the train wreck coming, but I did have numerous conversations with Hillary about it. And I have to recognize too that, the problem may not be Hillary, problem may be the mayor. So, any case, that's a summary of this issue, and I do hope that everyone will take it seriously. Right now, for example, if and I want to say this, I want to really thank Joshua Hatch for stepping forward on this. This is something he didn't have to do. It's something I don't think that he really wanted to do. But
you're correct.
He is.
Thank you, Joshua.
And let
You're welcome.
let me tell you why it's so important that he did this. He could go forward and be named acting chair without having a formal vote, because that is in the bylaws of the commission. And he was able to do that. But let's say that, and we're talking hypothetically right now, let's say that Joshua loved the job so much that he decided to accept it on a full-time basis and be named chair. Couldn't be happy. We can do it. We can't make the motion to elect a chair. So this is why this has to be resolved. It needs to be job one, as I said before. And once this is resolved, the first order of business is to elect a chair. So that's all I have to report on this. Be happy to respond to questions or hear additional comments about this problem.
Yes, I was going to ask this, does anybody else, since we're having, I would say, a conversation, right? Yeah, that's what I see
Yes.
this as. Does anybody else have anything to say? I mean, I have something I'd like to say, but I
Yes.
want to hear from other members first.
I'm not a
Well-
member, but I will address ways in which I've tried to add new members to the commission. When we did roll out our summer intern program during the orientation, I brought to each of the interns attention of the opportunity to serve on a board or commission, and specifically the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, to invite others. I also sent out an email to my network people, including Tony Strong Pratt and Tony Spencer and some other strongholds in the community, to encourage them. I also had a conversation with Jerry, and the conversation and the ask was, could you do this for one more year? And and his response was, of course, his practice is growing, and he has a son, and so I was trying to plead with him for the temporary status, and there might be others that might encourage him to do the same. He hasn't said yes, but that's where I left off.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, Josh, first of all, thanks to you and thanks to Mike and for pressing the issue. I don't feel bound to stop with Hillary. I know the mayor well enough to contact him directly. I know several members of city council to contact directly, and I intend to do so. I mean, this is unacceptable. And if that breaks the rules, it's on me.
So
And break the rules according to me.
I have a question about Mike. Did Hillary say why the mayor doesn't want to make changes at this time? Because I have some guesses, but I'm curious if she explained why he does not want to make changes.
What she told me was that the mayor did not want to introduce legislation that affected only one board. That if we examine this issue, that we want to have all the boards and commissions to be put on the table and make, an overall decision about it. So that's what Hillary told me. But I might mention that there was a discussion by the see how I want to say. I said my phone start ringing, and that's always a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself on mute temporarily here. Okay, person didn't leave a message. That's good. But going back to what we were saying is there was a desire, at least expressed to me by Hillary, that the mayor only wanted to bring this issue before council if there was an impact on all of the boards and commissions, and if anything was to be adopted by the council, that it should take all boards and commissions into consideration. I don't want to question the mayor's judgment, but the bottom line is that I think almost all of the boards and commissions have 9 members. That's where most of them stand. As I mentioned earlier, the Transportation Board does have 15 members, but most of them are set in statute. There's a representative from parking, there's a representative from the taxis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so those positions which are appointed by the mayor or appointed also by the wards, each individual ward has a member on the Transportation Board, and it's nominated by the alderperson. We don't have that advantage. I can't go to a member of the city council and say, look, we need a member of the Human Relations Commission. We've got 15 members. We need you to appoint someone. We don't have authority to say that because the way that our bylaws read, really, it's the mayor, and not only our bylaws, but the city code. The city code specifies that these are mayoral appointments. So even if we wanted to come up with a different structure, we don't have the authority to do it.
But Mike, every member of the city council has authority to introduce legislation. It doesn't have to be the mayor's legislation.
That is correct, but the mayor has a lot of influence on that, enormous influence.
Right, but I agree. But also, I think some of the members of city council have a fair amount of influence on him. He's a good guy. I have no problem with the mayor, but this is unacceptable, and I think I intend to press the issue.
So, Mike, you were talking about that Dewan is leaving the housing committee chair and that he's not leaving until the end of December. So
that's correct.
I remember that you said you were going to actually talk to him about potentially introducing legislation. Well, so I can tell you this. I know that as far as legislation goes, they're pretty much done with introducing new legislation for the rest of the year. They're going to be voting on a few more things. They only have a few more meetings together, and like October 30th or so, the end of October is what I've been told is the cutoff for any kind of voting. And I guess November, December is just like finishing up business, waiting for the transition for the new mayor, right? So that's what I've been told about the timeline. Whether that's official or not, I don't know, but that's what I've been told, how it works. So I think so that's why I was asking, has the mayor said why? Like I understand too that the mayor may not want to proceed with such changes because it could be controversial, right? People may say, well, why is he lessening the number on the Human Relations Commission and what's going on with this commission? You know what I mean? Like it brings attention to it all, and he may just not have the time to do that. Um, so I just, from what I understand, as far as introducing legislation right now, I don't think that we really will have a chance to get that done. And again, I'm in some other work that I'm doing. This is what I've been told by a city council member as to how it's working.
Actually,
So,
what I actually told, I guess, or comment when I was asked about this, I think I did mention that should the mayor go forward and appoint a new commissioner, then I would speak with Dewan if he could slip a vote in on which on just simply say it's routine. If they vote on that, then the thing would end up on city council's agenda. It wouldn't even be noticed. It would go right through. But I don't want to approach Dewan until the mayor makes the appointment. The mayor hasn't made the appointment, sitting on his desk since May. So he needs to make that appointment. Once he makes the appointment, then we can look for Dewan.
But the reality is we have 3 pending complaints. Am I right? Are we to ask the people who filed complaints to stand by until January, or that's unacceptable. I mean, I agree with everything everybody said, but I don't feel the need to stay silent on it.
Well, the one thing that we could do with respect to the complaints, but I'm just going to bring this up for discussion. Now, Claudia is on this call and she can comment on it as well. But there have been times, one time I think it's been within this past year, it involved a parking issue, in which Claudia handled the complaint. The commission could do that. It could simply ask the staff of the Office of Human Resources to deal with those complaints.
But the staff doesn't have subpoena power, Mike, on fair housing.
Excuse me? Oh,
the staff does not have subpoena power. I
Oh,
can't
no.
believe on fair housing.
If it was a fair housing dispute, we would be in a position where we would have to go to the city, and probably in a situation like that, we would probably end up having to go to the that's something that we might have to bring directly to the mayor, because it could result in a huge headache for us.
well,
But
I think that's what Claudia sent out today was a fair housing complaint.
Okay, I didn't.
Well, and arguably the other one too of harassment seemed to have racial overtones as well. And even the mold thing is, to me, an issue of fair housing. It's unfair to have people in moldy housing. Anyway, I agree that this. Well, I just find it unacceptable, and intend to talk to a couple of members of the council that I know, and also if I can get a hold of the mayor.
So the other thing that I was going to suggest was that maybe we go testify at the next city council meeting, and make the request publicly there. We could just go, one person could go, we could all just try to go, and one person speaks, whatever that is, but just publicly say, here's what's going on, here's the challenge, and there's 3 fair housing complaints sitting there, none of which we can respond to. And then that way publicly we let all the council people know, we let the city lawyer know, and we let the mayor know. And it's on public record. Because in the end, you know, the concern is that we as an HR commission right now are not looking great because we have these complaints and nothing's being done, right? So that was going to be my suggestion, is that we just go to the next city council meeting, which I believe is next Monday. It is next Monday, and we testify publicly.
I don't object to that, but I think the issue is, I mean, we don't want to inflame the issue of the, politics of this, and I think it might be best handled just on a phone call level or a informal meeting. I think if Rhonda, for example, if Rhonda Pinnold Charles or other members understood the situation, I think they would feel moved to act. Going to a council meeting, I'm not against that, but my gut tells me it might be best to try initially to get it done quietly and have it happen as soon as possible. When is the next? When is the next meeting?
I just said it's next Monday, and
Oh, that's not a delay then.
and
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate that you're going to make phone calls this week on behalf of the commission, but I also I don't love backdoor stuff going on, especially because Mike's already been down this road working on this for months now. And I'm not necessarily trying to inflame an issue. I'm just trying to say, get some response. Right now, there's an election going on tomorrow. So
Yes.
nobody's going to respond tomorrow. Probably nobody will respond on Wednesday. There's going
Yeah, Monday isn't a
everybody's
long ways away.
distracted.
I was afraid it was going to be more of a delay.
Actually, the way city council operates is one of the first items on the agenda is to give the public the right to
Yeah.
speak. And under that provision, a member of the commission could come forward.
Yes.
And you've got 5 minutes. They give you 5 minutes. I believe it's 5 minutes to speak, which is plenty of time.
It's 3 minutes.
Is it 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's still ample
Yes, it is.
amounts of time. So I mean that could be an avenue. How the council would react to that, I don't know.
Again, I'm not like suggesting that we go in nasty or inflaming anything. It's just like everything that you've talked about to me is just, I think it's probably a lot attributed to the administration is about to change. And the mayor's probably only going to be able to take up so much between now and then.
Agreed.
And it may be that he's thinking to himself, I'm going to leave the commission status to the next mayor and to the next council because that's only fair. It could be that's what he's thinking, but he may not be thinking about the fact that we have 3 complaints sitting there and they're really important that we need to, get action on them. So either way, I mean, I think it would be fine. Go ahead, reach out, Chuck, if it makes sense.
Yeah,
I
don't object to your point either.
Go on, and we can start to plan to go on Monday. If you get some answers before then we don't need to go on Monday. But again, I think it's just going to be really hard to get people's attention in the next month or two. I've definitely been running into that issue. So
Right.
Let me go ahead and interject at this point
Sure.
because we've been having this conversation for a while now, dealing with this first item on the agenda, which I think is very important. But I would ask Claudia, if you could put me in direct touch with Hillary, because I would like to see if we can't set up maybe a quick phone call or a Zoom with her to discuss what's going on with the commission. I think that that's important since she's the person who's supposed to be the go-between the boards and commissions and the mayor, one. Because it needs to be addressed. Chuck, I think it's a great idea for you to reach out to the mayor and members of city council as well. But I won't take off the table, and I don't think we should take off the table what Linda has also suggested
I
as
agree.
well,
I agree.
because I think it's important for us to, at this point, take all necessary avenues to address this. This is a huge problem for us. There's
Well said.
absolutely really no reason for us to even finish out this agenda because there's really nothing that we can do at this point because of the fact that number one, we don't have enough commissioners. And even if we did have everybody brought a person to the table right now, they would just be sitting in the queue. Like the young lady who applied for the commission a month and a half or 2 months ago. It's ridiculous. And I don't think that it has
I agree.
anything to do with the fact that the mayor is going out and there's going to be a new administration. I just think that it is the way in which the city has been operating with boards and commissions, period. I mean, I'm not going to leave that to an excuse of the fact that the administration is transitioning. I sat for months before I was appointed to the commission. So, this has been a practice. And so practice has put us in a position where we cannot address complaints that are coming before the commission, period. And so, after making the necessary attempts to address this, if we've got to take it up another level, then I mean, as commissioners, that's our responsibility and we should do that. But we should reach out to Hillary. We need to reach out to the mayor. We need to reach out to city council. But then if that doesn't work, then we need to take the next step because we do have 3 complaints now, which we can do nothing about. Which puts us into the next item on the agenda, dealing with the complaints in which we're not going to review tonight because there's nothing that we can do about them. But I would like to acknowledge the fact that we do have 3 complaints. And I would think that it would be a great idea to have Claudia reach out to those individuals and let them know that we've received their complaint, but at this time, we're not able to do anything about them. And if they want to inquire as to why, I think we should even tell them the reason why, because it's not a secret. We're waiting on the city of Annapolis to appoint commissioners to the Human Relations Commission so we can address complaints. That is the bottom line. If they would like to reach out to their representative on city council, they should. But at the very least, we do need to have an acknowledgement of the fact that we've received those complaints.
And we would like to act on them if we had a quorum.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So-
but we actually need 8 people though, is what
Right.
the notes that I took was that what Mike said is that we need 8 people on this
Yes.
commission to deal with complaints.
Even if we got the one done.
So even if we
still-
got one done, we still can't do anything, right?
But I've also heard Mike
That's
say
true.
that he's made a recommendation to reduce the size of the commission as well.
Right, right.
And so I
Okay,
think
I
that it
understand.
would make sense that we reduce the size of the commission, especially if we address and look at the average number of commissioners that we've had on the Human Relations Commission and factor that in, because we have never had, well, very seldom the commission has been staffed to full capacity. I think that we should reduce the number down statutorily to 9. It only makes sense.
I agree.
I mean, this is not rocket science here. You have a hard time getting 15 people. The people do not want to. There's a lot of folks who don't have the time to volunteer, but for those who do, this is the only commission that has 15 members. That's ridiculous.
Could I make a suggestion, not a motion, just a suggestion, that we proceed with Linda's approach of intending to testify on Monday, unless I get clear assurances from the mayor's office or others that this will be dealt with as quickly as possible.
I have a better suggestion. I suggest that Linda be the person who actually speak to city council at
Good.
that meeting, so that she can make it very plain and very clear of what issues we're having. And I think she's just the person to do it. And Linda nodded her head. She's in agreement with that. I saw her nod her head.
Oh, I thought you were still driving there, Joshua. So I actually might be at that meeting, for another testimony.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm happy to draft
Good.
something to say on Monday and share it with you all for feedback beforehand. I will warn you, it might be on Sunday when I do that, but yeah, so I definitely will keep you all in the loop. And I just want us to be very clear. There's two things that we're asking the city for.
Yes.
One is to hurry up and get our, new members approved, and two is to change to actually put forth legislation that will change our commission count. So we just have to be very clear about
I
that.
agree.
And then Joshua, I heard, because I'm being note taker, I heard you ask Claudia to do two things. So I think we need to make sure, so get her response. One was you asked her to get you in touch with Hillary. And the
Correct.
second was, could Claudia reach out to the three people that have put in complaints to let them at least acknowledge that we have them, that we're going to do our best to review them soon, but our commission is on hold right now. And I
Yeah.
guess I just would be interested too, Claudia, if there's any other options here, because again, just having those people on hold for this long. But anyhow, Claudia, go ahead. Sorry.
There were two complaints instead of
There's
one, three.
there's
Don't we
three.
have a pending mold complaint, a harassment complaint
Right.
by a couple, and then today's complaint by an individual that was denied a verbal approval for a lease.
Oh, the least one. Okay. Now wait a minute. The mold complaint is an
Yes.
ongoing complaint? Oh, okay.
Ongoing. It's an ongoing
Okay.
one.
Ongoing. Yep.
Okay.
We requested
And
to
that
meet
was
with the
started.
mayor. We requested to meet with the mayor just for a backdrop, Claudia, on the complaint, and we have not received any response from the mayors. Oh, actually, I believe Michael did receive a response that said something about someone else needed to be in attendance of the meeting that awarded. We should meet with someone else first. Is that correct, Mike?
I'm not following.
For the
You got
Annapolis
an
Gardens?
email from the chief of staff, Mike, I think?
Well, that had to do with the mold issue.
Right.
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 That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I basically wrote to the mayor's chief of staff, and I think I did get a response from her, and her response was basically, yeah, we're on top of this, and there's going to be some action taken. I think I did share that message with the full commission, but nothing. I have not gotten anything since that message, which I sent
June 3rd.
June 3rd or June 4th.
Yep.
is when it was. We've got no other word from the chief of staff on that. She did say she'd get back to me. She said, we're going to be aggressively looking at this. And I said, great. The commissioner was happy. That was back in June. But we still haven't gotten any additional word. So it would be helpful if that was looked into as well.
I agree.
But I would like to say at one point was, again, is the complaint related to a lease? Was that something which was received today, or is it new?
I got it today, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
it's
okay,
today.
that's good, because I checked my email real early in the morning and I have not seen that one. But if it has to do with a lease, it strikes me that is almost certainly going to be a fair housing complaint.
It definitely is. Yeah.
And, we're the ones that have to do that. And I think that ought to be used as
Absolutely.
Exhibit A. If there is a discussion before the council, Exhibit A is that we've got a fair housing complaint. We can't act on it. And the alternative is that the parties are going to almost certainly take this. They can take it to the County Human Relations Commission. They could take it to the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. And they could dump it on the desk of Anthony Brown, who's the Attorney General of Maryland. Any one of those things will result in a very embarrassing picture for the city of Annapolis. So, and if the media gets a hold of it, even more so. So that raises this level. And it's important that we respond to all complaints, but a fair housing complaint is sort of the line that you got out of George Orwell's book, Animal Farms. Some animals are more equal than other animals. Fair housing complaints are more equal than other complaints.
And the other two include provisions, in my mind, that not provisions, but elements of possible racial unfairness.
Yeah.
So I want to, just for the sake of time and where we're at on the agenda, I'd like to say that we've covered agenda item number 1, dealing with the quorum. We have a plan and action in place. We have covered item number 2 in regards to the complaints of the commission, and we requested that Claudia Barber reach out to those individuals and also put me in touch with Hillary. And we're talking about.
Claudia
will do.
is trying to
Will do.
speak, Joshua.
Yes.
sorry.
okay.
You still,
I just wanted to affirm I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Agenda item number 3, dealing with the follow-up with the complaint dealing with the mold. We have continuously requested to meet with the mayor. I don't know exactly what we need to do on that particular end. Does anybody have any suggestions on us setting up a meeting? I don't care if planning and zoning is there, but I do think that we still need to meet with the mayor as we requested, being as though that we are the Human Relations Commission.
I agree.
Yeah, what I would suggest is that as a courtesy that you go back to the June 4th exchange, which I had with Miss Petty, the chief of staff, and just say, this has been several months now. We haven't heard. Is there some update on that? Giving her the opportunity to get back to us. Now, if she doesn't respond right away, or if nothing has happened, then I think we can proceed to seek a meeting with the mayor. But I think just out of a courtesy, that we touch base with the chief of staff. The chief of staff usually reflects what the mayor wants. That's usually the pattern that you have there. But that would be my suggestion.
Michael, do you mind doing that?
I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll be very happy. Yeah, I'll send her a note and a copy of the original message, and I'll say, is there anything new that's occurred with respect to this, and see what she says. And when I get a response, she responded very fast to my last message, but it was because I quoted a piece of legislation which Linda very ably provided to me, that there was action taken by the Maryland General Assembly on this issue.
Delegate Munson.
Yeah. So, and I'll make reference to that again.
Shanika Hensonsville.
I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'll do it right away.
Josh, could I make another
Sure.
suggestion? Could
Sure.
you, Mike, could you also consider indicating that at least one member, that would be me, would, that if further delays on any of the 3 pending complaints are happen, that we would be forced to consider sending it to the county and state Human Relations Commission.
We
since
would
we're
not have the
able to
authority to do that, Chuck. They could go independently, but we could not make a referral because it would require a vote of the commission.
Well, we will encourage them to
Okay.
do so. Then we can say that
Right.
we will encourage the complainants to do that.
I
Yeah.
like that.
We could in a letter to the complainants, we could do that. What we may want to do is to say, and I definitely think we need to be in touch with them. We said that this complaint has been received. We are looking into the matter now. And we'll get back to you as soon as we've got something to report, et cetera, et cetera. A very positive message that leads them to think that, we're going to be moving ahead on them. And doesn't force us to say, well, you ought to look into some other options.
Well, I think that Claudia is going to do that, but
Yeah.
if we are not gaining traction with being able to address their complaint, I do believe that we need to give them other options. Whether or not it will
Yeah.
be embarrassing on the city or not,
Yeah,
that's, that's none of our business.
yeah, I
Our
agree,
business
Joshua.
is to make sure that it is addressed. And if we can't address it, to point them in the direction where it can be addressed.
I agree. I
Yeah, I
agree.
agree with that. I agree with that.
I mean, it's just the way that it is. Okay, good. So let's move on. All right. Item number 4, status update of the September 10th mayoral candidate forum. I don't think that we need to address this because September 10th is passed, right?
Well, I can just give you a quick update, Joshua. So, and really it's just more of an apology to you all. So I initially had told you that a friend of mine was working on that, and over the summer, she gave up that role because she decided to be on somebody's campaign. So I kind of lost my connection there. By the time I got a new connection, they already had put in place their questions and they were not able to entertain our questions at all. So I just wanted to let everybody know that the ball was kind of dropped and it was pretty much on my end, and I apologize. I did go, Rosemary went, I submitted a question, and the funny thing is the question I ended up submitting was, what will you do with commissions in your new administration? Because some are I forget what wording I used, something like not listened to and others have too much power or something like that. So, but they didn't actually pick it. But anyhow, so yeah, so it all just kind of fell through and I apologize.
Apology accepted. So the next item on the agenda is the handling, and the last item is the handling of outreach opportunities. Mike, I'll defer to you on this. I mean, you recommended it to be placed on the agenda. Was there anything specific that you wanted to address with this?
No, I was just, I think it needs to be noted that we have had some opportunities to do outreach and have various tabling at events. And I think the fact that those opportunities are coming to us, I think, are very, very important because they do represent an opportunity to tell people about the work that the commission does and find out perhaps if they're interested in joining the commission. So that was the only reason I asked ask that to be included.
There-
We do have a chair of the complaint of the outreach committee, and that's Chuck. And
Chuck,
I can recall that there were several people who very specifically said that they would be happy to help in this regard, and that was Linda and Rosemary.
Yeah, well, I could not attend the two that I had originally said I would. So I'm still scheduled for Harbor House, and I should not have any conflicts getting to that particular one.
it's wonderful that we want to do outreach. It really is, but I mean,
I know,
we're doing outreach
encouraging.
to tell people about a commission that's not functioning
It can't
because we have
function.
several roadblocks. So maybe what we should be doing is telling the residents why we're not an active commission for the city of Annapolis. Maybe that's what we should be doing. But I'm sure that that wouldn't be appealing to the city. But
Nor to the residents either.
right, right.
So we've got three left, September 18th at Bywaters, the 25th at Wilborn Estates, and the second is at Harbor House. I signed up for the 18th. I've only been to one. One got canceled, and then the other one I had to work. So it has not really been a whole lot. We've only been to one actually. So I signed up for Bywaters. That's on Thursday, so I'll see what I can do. But yeah, I'm discouraged. I'm kind of just feeling like here I'm gonna rearrange my schedule to try and do this. Oh, and actually I can't. I just looked. I have a work meeting at 3:30. So yeah, this is really discouraging because how can we invite people in and ask them to apply? And then on top of it, usually already taking months, there's just no answer as to how they will get approved and when they'll get approved and when we'll actually be able to do work again.
Mhm.
And I think this is part of, that's why I do think that we need to testify again, just to publicly put this on record because, you know, like I said, all of us are the ones that are looking kind of bad. Our names are on the website as the members of the commission, and we know people in the community, and, you know, it reflects back on us.
No,
So,
Linda, I disagree with you on that. I don't think that it reflects back on us because you're sitting here on this meeting right now. You're actually willing to come, take your time to volunteer. This reflects squarely on the city of Annapolis. And your name is not City of Annapolis. Your name is Linda Mundy. So I would just say that no, it's the city's responsibility. It's their charge to make sure that we have what we need in order to do what we need to do. We have actually recruited someone. Everyone who's on this commission has experienced how long it takes to get appointed. And so that's something that the city has to address, not you. And you don't need to bear the cross for the inactions of the city. That's not your role. So I'm glad that we had an
well, I
opportunity.
appreciate that. I'm still pissed though.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm not going to tell you what my grandmother used to tell me because we're being recorded. But listen, this was a wonderful meeting.
I like your
Uh,
grandma.
this was a wonderful meeting where we really could just have a conversation. We can call each other on three-way for this. Hopefully, everything that we've decided to do and discuss, we were able to accomplish it. And I'll see you all next month if no one else has anything to say.
I'll
Chuck,
report
will
if I make any
you,
progress on the phone calls and
Chuck,
perhaps a meeting.
yeah, I was just gonna say, if you don't hear anything by Saturday, because I doubt you'll hear anything on Monday, which is our city council day. But, so if you could
I,
just let us know by Saturday if
I
you hear
I would
anything or
hope it'd be
not,
before that, but yes.
and then I'll know to whether or not to proceed with writing testimony. And I invite
I,
you all to come in person with me to testify. It's important to have other people, and if you came, I would acknowledge you for sure and say other members of the commission are here. So
I think we all should come.
I will be
I-
there. I
Yeah, I
will
think we all
be.
It's on
should
the
come.
is that on the 22nd? Linda, am I saying
yeah,
that right? Is Monday the
yeah,
22nd?
22nd.
I'll try to
Yeah,
be there too.
at
Linda,
7 o'clock.
Linda, can you send an email,
Yep,
please?
I
Just
can
send
do
in the
that.
day and the time and
Yep.
location. So everyone, I don't hear anyone saying they won't be there. So I assume that everyone can make it and we can stand there together while you speak on behalf
Sounds
of the
good.
commission to say we have some serious issues that we want the city to be aware of and the residents as well.
Hey, and one idea I want to put out there just before I forget it, when and if we ever get back to recruiting new members because we feel like they're going to get approved, I think we should consider the candidates who end up losing tomorrow. We should really take a look at some of those candidates because they're obviously people that want to get engaged in the city and to become leaders in the city. And a lot of them, I think, have their heart and mind and action in the right place to be on this commission. So,
That's a
I'm
good
gonna be
idea.
That is a
I'm
good
gonna be
idea.
watching that and seeing, who we could perhaps recruit from that batch of people.
All right,
It's
that's a great idea.
possible. It's also possible, outgoing older people, including Sheila Finlayson and, I think it's Ross Arnett.
He's
If
not
they,
interested.
oh, okay.
I've already spoken with him. No.
But
Okay.
Sheila Finlayson is a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Well, everyone, it's been really nice. Josh from the city's TV, thank you. Claudia, you're awesome and amazing. Everyone else, you're great. Everyone have a great night. I'll see you next month.